What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Pokey Office. My name is Colin. Today's video is all about what happened a couple days ago. A bunch of us got together on a live stream to settle the debate once and for all on Pokemon investing. It actually didn't happen like that whatsoever. It was more just a roundtable discussion, talking about some points on Pokemon investing. Yes, no, where do you fall in the middle? Is it a good investment? Is it a bad investment? Is it risky? Is it not? And of course, some of us disagreed, but there was a lot of agreement as well and a lot of good roundtable discussion. I thought we were all pretty cordial, so I really enjoyed it. Shout out to Okjluv for hosting all of us. There was also Opossum was there, Nostalgianomics was there, Rob Burns was there, Gray from TCG Buyers Club was there, and myself. And then, of course, the big dog showed up, Cool Trainer Ryan, for like the last hour of the stream. So lots of fun. I saw the comments. I saw you all there. Like, unreal. It was over 500 people watching for almost the entire time. Kind of wild. So apparently people care about this topic. Plus the fact that it's just like, I think it's really fun to get together, hear other people's opinions, and have some discourse about it, even if we do disagree, as long as we can still be respectful in our disagreements. So shout out again to OKJLove. If you want to go watch that entire stream, I'll link it down below in the description. Though, disclaimer, it's like 3.5, 4 hours long, so it is a bit of a lengthy one, but if you just want to turn it on, listen to it like a podcast, I mean, there was some cool stuff there. So lots of things that we talked about over that course of 3.5 hours or so, but I want to kind of plant my flag and like just sit here in the risk part of Pokemon investing. Okay, so a couple different points that we're going to talk about. Number one being, OKJLove bringing up, couldn't Pokemon just reprint everything? Right now in Japanese Pokemon cards, they're reprinting a crap ton of it. So couldn't they just do the same in English? And yeah, of course they can. It's their intellectual property. They can do whatever they want to. The Pokemon Company International, I've said it multiple times, can do whatever they want to. They could reprint base set for all they want to. However, the precedent has never been set for that. I think Pokemon Company actually does care about the investing side of things just as much as the collecting, just as much as the game. Because I think that's all this like diverse economy when it comes to a really big IP like Pokemon and the trading card game, where it's like you have to have all those things playing together. The TCG kind of continues the trend of like new sets coming out all the time and new meta and stuff like that. So that's going to drive the price of some cards. Then we have just the collectors. Why would they print alternate art cards if there was no such thing as collectors? They probably wouldn't. So that's another factor in Pokemon printing cards. And then investing. My personal take on it is that I think there's always been investments in collectible stuff. Like, why is there still first edition base set booster boxes out there if people weren't investing? Now, maybe you could argue that they weren't thinking about it as an investment. They were thinking about it as a collection. And they want to just continue to hold and hold and hold. Like, you have some rich people holding tons of product. That could be true. But that's still, in my mind, an investment. Maybe you didn't expect it to gain huge money, but holding a collectible is still a semi-form of investment. So in the near future, let's say Pokemon does reprint Scarlet and Violet era. That was another topic that we talked about. Like, yeah, I think they're going to reprint Scarlet and Violet era stuff. The precedent has been set by the Pokemon Company International to reprint current sets that are part of the TCG. So why wouldn't they? It's like more money on the table. And by my standard, I think that Pokemon can't print enough. Like, I go to Walmart, I go to GameStop, there's not a ton of Pokemon on the shelves, even though it feels like lots of people are not into Scarlet and Violet. I mean, the facts of the matter is what I see begs to differ. And I got misquoted yesterday or the other day saying that I don't like Scarlet and Violet. That is far from the truth. I think Scarlet and Violet is knocking it out of the park. Anyone who's been watching my channel for a while is going to know that I absolutely love Scarlet and Violet era. But it seems like the main consensus of like the Pokemon community is that Scarlet and Violet is a little lackluster. So what does that mean? If Pokemon Company reprints a bunch of Scarlet and Violet era stuff, I think that's an amazing piece for us investors. Like, I want to buy more of it for $80, $90 a booster box. I don't like paying $150 to like $500 per a booster box. I would much rather pay the $80, $90, $100 per booster box, buy it at that wholesale price. And in my opinion, there is like so much data to show that Pokemon Company stuff, just investing in Pokemon in general, you start off buying at wholesale prices. That's well below MSRP. I don't think any booster box of Pokemon ever has not made its way up to MSRP once it goes out of print. So I think there's enough data. Speaking of data, that was another big point that was brought up during the live stream. Is there enough data? Isn't Pokemon investing just speculative? Newsflash, speculative is investing. Investing is speculative. We cannot read the future. We can only look at past data and then make an informed and educated guess on what's going to happen in the future. The past is the past. The future is the future. So lots of examples to talk about here. One of them was in the live stream. We talked about Blockbuster. Blockbuster was totally knocking it out of the park. And then all of a sudden Netflix comes around and people start watching videos digitally. And Blockbuster, I mean, is there still one in existence? Like one? I'm pretty sure that stock is at zero. So everything is speculative. We can't determine what's going to happen. We can't determine that COVID was going to completely change our world for a couple of years, and probably like we're still feeling the after effects of that. So everything is speculative. A couple other different options that came out of there were like, yeah, you could invest in real estate. You could invest in the stock market. You could invest in Bitcoin. You could invest in Pokemon. Where do those rank? And some people on the stream seem to like, I mean, obviously real estate is pretty high up on the low risk end of things. So low risk, it should be down here. And then we have stuff like the stock market. If you invest in the S&P 500, pretty low risk in the grand scheme of things, because I mean, it's taking the 500 biggest stocks or 500 of the biggest stocks. I mean, I don't think all 500 of those are just going to go down to zero right away. So if one goes to zero, one might increase and level itself out. So that's going to ebb and flow, but relatively a less risk investment. But cryptocurrency, altcoins, those are incredibly risky. And I think Pokemon in general is way less risky than some of these other things. A few people were saying like Pokemon booster boxes should be compared to a individual stock, which I kind of agree with. But why couldn't we just like consider it as every booster box I buy, especially with my strategy, which is just to dollar cost average in, buy the current booster box at the current price until the next booster box comes, and then buy some of that with whatever money you feel comfortable investing with. That's my take on the matter. So do that. Isn't that just kind of me investing in Pokemon as like a big company? Like I'm investing in all their stuff. I mean, yeah, they have the anime and yeah, they have the merchandise and whatnot, but like I'm putting my money into a hobby that I really, really like. I think they have so much past data that proves that Pokemon is one of the biggest IPs in the world and that it is not going anywhere. The other point that I didn't really get to make in that live stream is, if you've been watching the channel, you know that I'm a teacher on call right now. So I go to lots of schools. There are lots and lots of kids who really like Pokemon. I think about my nieces and my nephews. There are lots of them that love Pokemon. Plus, people in this community, you have kids and you're introducing your kids to Pokemon, or alternatively, your kids are introducing you back into Pokemon. There's this whole like meshing together that we're seeing my generation, older generations, younger generations all coming back into Pokemon. I think Pokemon is in a place that is absolutely great. But here's the last piece of like the risky part of investing. We're never going to see a big boom like we saw during COVID. So one of the things that people maybe disagreed with Alex from Nostalgianomics was that he compared it to, like he compared the stock market to X and Y booster boxes, which saw a big increase in 2020 during COVID. But I don't think we're going to see a big crazy catalyst boom of the collectability scene like COVID ever again either. I mean, we could for sure. There could be a new world virus, or there could, like, I'm not even going to go there. I shouldn't go there. But of course we could see that. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but that doesn't mean that I should be scared of investing in Pokemon. If anything, I should be like more into investing in Pokemon. There's more people than ever before thinking about it. There's more people than ever before just into Pokemon in general as a hobby. So I would love to just see it have a nice slow trend line in the up direction. That just means it's boring. That means it's actually kind of not very much risk rather than like these crazy spikes and whatnot. So I just don't think that matters. So to pull this all back together, Pokemon, definitely a risk. I would say the riskier your investment, the bigger the reward could be, or the bigger your loss could be. Like, that's just the way it is. I've told the story before, but I put some money into an altcoin of cryptocurrency 3 years ago, something like that. And I probably put like $5,000-$6,000 in, and I watched it spike to like over $60,000. And I didn't cash out because I got greedy. And then it came back down, and now it's worth like less than $1,000. It's absolutely tragic. But that's just the way it is. Altcoins are extremely risky. I knew that going in. But it could have paid off huge. Like, I could have 10x'd my money in a matter of 2 months. Like, that's actually what happened. But I didn't, and I didn't cash out. So these were like unrealized gains and losses because I still haven't cashed out. It's just sitting there. But that's a side rant for another thing. Rob Burns actually said something really important. Typically, when you go talk to a financial advisor or whatever, all they do is they show you the 30-year graph of the S&P 500 or whatever investment that you're looking at. Wow, look at this. If you would have invested back in 1970, 50 years ago, you'd have a couple $1 million. Like, yeah. And do they tell you anything else? Like, do they give you more data than that? No, because most people don't want to hear it. And I understand, here's a different point. I understand that there are people out there that need lots of data to make an informed decision. I am not one of those people. I am like a quick action taker. Like, I want to see it and then I'm ready to go. It doesn't take much to sell me on an idea. I want to do it. You know, I'm enthusiastic about things, whether it's risky or not. I'm willing to put some money into it. And I've lost money that way. I've also gained money that way. So that's just risk tolerance. I'm also a gambler. I don't mind losing a couple $100 at the casino either. I like kind of the riskier plays. I think it's almost a little bit of a thrill for me, to be honest with you. So to me, Pokemon investing for myself is not that risky. I fully believe in it. It's a hobby. And I also just think that the IP is so strong that well past my lifetime, I think Pokemon is still going to be doing it. Could I be wrong? Absolutely, I could be. But I am okay with it. That's fine. Like, I'm okay with admitting that I'm wrong sometimes. No problem. So this leads us to the biggest question of all, maybe. What happens if Pokemon all goes to zero? I don't really care. I mean, ultimately, I do care to some extent because, yeah, I have quite a bit of money into Pokemon. There's a lot of money behind me and to the side of me and in the back closet with some stuff, some sealed investments, some loose packs for the live stream. I've invested a lot of time into doing this channel as well. Like, I'm heavily invested in Pokemon. But ultimately, if it goes to zero, OK J-Love and Opossum said that, like, just rip open the packs and enjoy the cardboard was not a good excuse. Rob Burns, and I agree with Rob Burns, I think that's a fine excuse. I love Pokemon. Am I going to love it as much if it's worth $0? 100% no, I'm not. But I still like Pokemon. And ultimately, I don't really know how I would react if it went down to zero. But that's also just coming back to that risk management. I have a pretty high risk tolerance for something like that. I mean, I've lost money before. I put a bunch of money from my retirement fund when I was in the military into a stock, and it went nowhere. It actually dropped a bunch. Like, I'm down money over 7 years. How can you be down money in 7 years in this economy right now? But that's just the way it is. And that was like a low risk investment. These things happen, and I'm comfortable with it. it doesn't keep me awake at night. If it does keep you awake at night, then your risk tolerance is probably a little bit lower, and maybe Pokemon investing isn't for you. Which leads me to my very last point, I promise, because I've been rambling for a decent amount of time already. But it's just do what you like. It's your responsibility to make your own decisions, your own informed decisions. There's people like me, there's people like Alex at Nostalgianomics, there's people like Okjluv all across the spectrum, which is amazing. That actually, I like the fact that Pokemon brings this diverse crowd into it. We had people like Okjluv from Australia, we had people from the United States, we had people from Canada. I'm sure there was people from all across the world watching, and that's amazing. So it's up to you to determine what you're going to do with your money. I'm going to continue making content. I love making content. I love, like, as I've gotten more into it, I love getting in front of the camera, spewing my thoughts. And if you don't like my content, it's no skin off my back. Don't watch it. It's totally fine. It actually makes me laugh. There was a comment from, a video or two ago on mine, and it's like, why do you always spew and ramble during your pack openings? I just can't even watch it. It's so stupid. It's like, well, then don't watch it. Like, that's fine. That's me having fun with Pokemon. And I know some of you like watching my journey of the collecting aspect of it as well. And if you don't like it, totally fine. I'm the exact same way. I watch YouTube channels that I really like. And it takes a little bit of time for a YouTube channel to get me to subscribe because, hey, I want to know that you're genuine. I want to know that you're consistent. I want to know that I actually like your content, not just one video of your content. So you got to pick. It's your choice. It's up to you always in everything you do. Like, so whether I am spewing stuff about Pokemon investing that you agree with or disagree with, ultimately, I'm going to continue talking about what I'm doing, what's working for me, what's not working for me. I hope you can see that I'm vulnerable. I make mistakes. I'm not just going to try and pump anything. Like, that's not my goal whatsoever. It's to have fun in the Pokemon hobby. And I legitimately have fun putting these presentations and these videos together, sharing the market updates. That's part of what I do. I like knowing the prices. I'm just a nerd like that. I like Pokemon. I like the prices. That is just part of who I am. I found a passion, and I'm going to continue making that content. If you like it, amazing. Thank you so much for being here. If you don't, that's totally fine. Go find someone who makes Pokemon content that's for you, because there's all sorts of Pokemon content out there, which is absolutely amazing. Amazing stuff. They're amazing stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed this little ramble. That's kind of my main takeaways from the live stream that was with Okjluv hosting. I thought it was amazing, honestly. So shout out one more time to Okjluv. I thought it was awesome. If I had one piece of critique for anyone, I just think the group was a little too big. I'm personally someone who kind of shies away as the group gets bigger. I like talking on like a one-on-one setting or a one-on-two setting type of thing. As soon as the group gets over like 3 or 4, I get a little bit uncomfortable and I really have to force myself to say something. Otherwise, I'm just going to be a listener for the most part. So maybe too many cooks in the kitchen, and I think people could tell in the comments, in the chat, because there's lots of times where we were like all started talking, and I'm Canadian, so I'm like, oh, sorry, you go ahead, and whatever. So other than that, I thought it was excellent. I had a blast, and I definitely want to continue these conversations on the Poke Office. The Poke Office isn't just about the data from TCG Player. It's about just continuing to build this community, and I got some really, really exciting guests coming up on the spotlight hours, and I think that's kind of just like part of where the Poke Office is going. Hopefully you're here for it. Of course, we got to rip some packs. I'm going in for Temporal Forces. All right, I think I got my camera set up now, so it's a little bit different, but it actually, I got like a new stand for it, so I think it's going to be actually having me a little bit more free. I may need to adjust like the settings because I already see my hand drifting to the right, but overall, I think it's going to be a really good change with this new computer. Let me know what you think, though, about the whole Pokemon investing thing. Did you watch that live stream? It was definitely a long one, so like I can't even recommend that you go watch it all because that's just a little bit insane. But it was a great time. There's lots of good opinions said there. There was lots of good that came out of it. Smaller creators, bigger creators. The fact that Cool Trainer Ryan was there is absolutely crazy to me. I actually had a conversation with him afterwards, which was really cool, and I just got a lot of respect for the guy. He's very, very genuine. And the more I watch his content, the more I like it, to be honest with you. But looking forward to Card Party as well, because it's literally like a month, 5 weeks away. So hoping to see lots of you there. And ultimately, this whole debate, yeah, we debated a few things, but I'm here to build the community up. You guys know that. I'm not here to start arguments or whatever. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to like everything. And if you like it, awesome. And if you don't like the investing part, that's fine. And if you do, awesome. If you like Okjluv stuff and share his views, awesome. I don't care. I do care because I want the Pokemon community to be close or tight-knit. I don't care if I'm not your cup of tea. And I think that came out loud and clear. I hope it did anyways. I'm here to build the community up. So that's the number one goal. I just love the Pokemon community. It has really actually transformed my life. It's what I look forward to every single day of the week. So how can you argue with that? And the fact that people are watching me spew out my thoughts on camera, I mean, that just means a lot to me, but it's a little bit humbling as well because I'm just your average Joe loving Pokemon. Speaking of loving Pokemon, I would love to pull a special illustration rare out of Temporal Forces. Now, I know how tough that is, but we have done it a few times, so it could happen again. This has an ace spec in it, I think. Maximum belts. Okay. Alright. Something. I wonder how long those are going to stay in play. I know they're coming out in Twilight Masquerade, but after that, when? Alright, 2 packs left. 2 packs. I actually haven't checked, but Buddy Poffin has been a real banger of just a regular card. Here's one that I pulled a couple packs ago. And these are still worth, I think, $1. I haven't checked in a couple weeks, but there's definitely cards like that coming out now and in the future that you gotta keep an eye out for, because there's $1 on a regular common card. That's worth not just putting into your bulk pile, for sure. Oof. Nothing too great there. 3 hits, Iron Leaves, Miraidon, and Maximum Belt Ace spec card. But Temporal Forces is a tough one. That's going to do it for me at the Poke Office. Hope you enjoyed the rant. And if you want, go check out all those channels. I've linked them all down below in the description. So there's Okjluv, Nostalgianomics, Opossum, Gray from TCG, Buyers Club, and Rob Burns. All great channels. They make great YouTube content on Pokemon. Just support who you like and continue building this awesome Pokemon community. Appreciate you guys. My name is Colin. This is the Poke Office. Until my next video, peace.